between all the way and just taking it slow. Between one more shot on a Friday and one knee down, maybe one day. Between holding her and never letting go. That's the difference between a man and a horse. That's the difference between a man and horse. Between a man and horse. She walks in like a 10, looking knocked out. Turning heads, drop me dead, spinning right round. She's more than messing with my mind. She's that tiger kind of wild, got the devil in her eyes. She's got that body that I crave, I can't help but misbehave. It's the way she looks tonight. She drives me crazy. 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 She sways her hips, midnight kiss, takes tequila. Neon glow, hold me close, God, I need her. She's more than messing with my soul, got that Marilyn Monroe. I can't help but lose control. She drives me crazy. 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 Yeah, that girl takes up all of my time. I spend every dollar, I spend every dime. She stole my heart and took over my mind. It's local, game over, she drives me crazy. Yeah, she drives me. She drives me crazy, crazy.
Stingray Music. All good vibes.
It ain't my fault, so don't blame me. I swear I just came here to unwind and have one drink. The way it looks, it ain't what you think. This Cabernet has a way of vanishing on me. There's a hole in the bottle, leaking all this wine. It's already empty, it ain't even supper time. They know I don't miss it, in fact it slipped my mind. There's a hole in the bottle of wine. I keep my cool, play by all the rules. I swear 10 minutes ago that bottle was full. I won't cry, was broken. Now this one's halfway gone, and it's barely even open. There's a hole in the bottle, leaking all this wine. It's already empty, and it ain't even supper time. No, I don't listen. In fact, it slipped my mind. There's a hole in the bottle of wine. You may ask me where it's going, but I can't even find the hole in the bottle of wine.
Everybody here ain't from here, but we're here doing our thing. Letting go a little, little by little, sipping on a frozen drink. Tiki bars taking, pouring all weekend, clouds ain't leaking no rain. Two pieces shaking, white caps breaking, we ain't feeling no pain. It goes like one margarita, two margarita, three margarita shot. Don't worry about tomorrow, leave all your sorrow out here on the floating dock. When that sun lays down, we'll be on our way. One more barefoot round, one more last chance to say, hey senorita, don't you think we need a salt and a buffet song? One margarita, two margarita, three margarita, we'll be gone. Ice blue sky, shades on the ice to tuck the bloodshot away. Hair of the dog shouldn't take long, but who cares, we got all day. Palm trees are leaning, sunburned screaming, but we'll all be alright. After one margarita, two margarita, three margarita shot. Don't worry about tomorrow, leave all your sorrow out here on the floating dock. When that sun lays down, we'll be on our way. One more barefoot round, one more last chance to say, hey senorita, don't you think we need a salt and a Marley song? One margarita, two margarita, three margarita, we'll be gone. We'll be gone. Tiki bars taking, pouring all weekend, clouds ain't leaking no rain. Two pieces shaking, white caps are breaking, we ain't feeling no pain, feeling no pain. It goes like one margarita, two margarita, three margarita shot. Don't worry about tomorrow, leave all your sorrow out here on the floating dock. When that sun lays down, we'll be on our way. One more barefoot round, one more last chance to say, hey senorita, don't you think we need a salt and a Chesney song? One margarita, two margarita, three margarita, we'll be gone. We'll be gone. We'll be gone. Where's a guy in the steel toes covered in dirt, just a rock and roll t-shirt, headed to work with a pack of Red Man in his pocket. He's kinda red man, but he's rocking. Where's a beat up Tilly and a Marshall stack, little Marshall Tucker and a six-pack. Where's the good old boys and the good old days, straight up getting sideways. We back in the speakers, back in black, getting blasted in the bleachers. It's probably true what my mama said, I do it just like my daddy did. We back in the saddle, back on stage making the whole place rattle. Back with the A-team, train on the track, thought we were gone but you're wrong now. baby, just like my daddy did. We back, we back, we back in the saddle, back on stage, making the whole place rattle. Back with the 18 train on the track. Thought we were gone, but you're wrong. That was on. We back. Sun comes up and sun goes down. Yeah. Everything good comes back around. We back in the speakers, back in black, getting blasted in the bleachers. It's probably true what my mama said.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Town of Grand Falls-Windsor Council meeting for April 15th, 2025. Meeting is called to order. If I can have a resolution for the adoption of the agenda, please. Councillor Knoll, second by Councillor Little. Any discussion on the agenda for tonight's meeting? There being none, all in favor? Aye. Motion carried. We do have 3 proclamations to read tonight, and so we'll do that right now. And the first one is a proclamation for Ehlers-Danlos syndrome and hypermobility spectrum disorders awareness month, May 1st to May 31st, 2025. Whereas Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, EDS, are a group of 13 heritable disorders that affect the body's connective tissues, including the skin, joints, blood vessels, digestive system, and many other organs and tissues. EDS is categorized by looseness, instability, and dislocations of the joints, fragile and often hyperelastic skin that bruises, scars, and tears easily, unpredictable arterial and organ rupture, causing acute pain, excessive internal bleeding, shock, stroke, and premature death. And whereas it is estimated that 1 in 5,000 individuals are born with EDS, and whereas hypermobility spectrum disorders, HSD, are diagnosed when the musculoskeletal complications of joint hypermobility and joint instability, ease of injury, joint pain, and dislocations, for example, arise in a person who does not have the defining feature of EDS or other connective tissue disorder. And whereas EDS and HSD is frequently misdiagnosed or underdiagnosed, and whereas an early and accurate diagnosis provides the opportunity to create medical plans and improve quality of life. And whereas further medical research and awareness can bring hope for treatment and a cure, and whereas EDS and HSD Awareness Month is an opportunity to future educate the public and medical community in recognizing the signs and symptoms of these conditions. Therefore, I, Mike Brown, Deputy Mayor, do hereby proclaim May as Ehlers-Danlos Syndrome and Hypermobility Spectrum Disorders Awareness Month in the town of Grand Falls, Windsor. And Mr. Finn, I'll pass that to you so we can have it posted downstairs. Our second proclamation is Heart Failure Awareness Week, May 4th to the 10th. Whereas the Canadian Heart Failure Awareness Week is marked across Canada to raise awareness of the causes of heart failure and the impact it has on individuals living with heart failure and their caregivers. Whereas over 827,560 people 40 years of age and older are living with heart failure in Canada, and over 120,000 people aged 40 years and older are diagnosed with heart failure in Canada. Heart failure significantly impacts individuals living with the condition, their families, caregivers, and the healthcare system, affecting over 13,000 people above the age of 40 right here in Newfoundland and Labrador. It imposes a substantial economic burden, with hospitalizations being a major cost driver. In Canada, heart failure is the third leading cause of hospitalizations. Whereas people with heart failure experience debilitating symptoms such as shortness of breath, swelling, and exhaustion, and whereas people caring for those with heart failure are often overwhelmed and stressed. Whereas heart failure imposes a significant economic burden on the healthcare system, with one of the main cost drivers being hospitalizations and heart failure, is the third leading cause of hospitalizations in Canada. Whereas Heart Failure Awareness Week was initiated by the Canadian Heart Failure Society, an organization and patients in collaboration with Heart and Stroke Foundation of Canada, the Canadian Cardiovascular Society, the Canadian Council of Cardiovascular Nurses, and the Canadian Association of Cardiovascular Prevention and Rehabilitation, Canadian Heart Function Alliance, the Heart Life Foundation, and Ted Rogers Centre for Heart Research. And whereas the Canadian Heart Failure Awareness Week is now celebrated across Canada as a time dedicated to improving awareness and education of heart failure for people in Newfoundland and Labrador and all Canadians. Therefore, I, Mike Brown, Deputy Mayor of Grand Falls, Windsor, do hereby proclaim May 10th, 4th to the 10th, 2025 as Heart Failure Awareness Week. Thank you, sir. And our final proclamation is for National Volunteer Week 2025, April 27th to May 3rd. And we have two guests here with us this evening. Colin Corcoran is the Chief Executive Officer of the Community Sector Council, and Tiffany Drover is with the Community Sector Council here in Grand Falls, Windsor, and Central Newfoundland. So I'll call on you guys to come up now, and I'll read the proclamation. Whereas 24 million Canadians give their time through formal or informal types of volunteering, contributing close to 5 billion volunteer hours per year, and whereas over 210,000 individuals in Newfoundland and Labrador volunteer an average of 160 hours per year with 3,400 incorporated nonprofits and 3,000 plus informal community groups. And whereas volunteers in Grand Falls-Windsor give their time and talents to support families, friends, neighbors, and strangers, and whereas volunteers in Grand Falls-Windsor are individuals, families, workers, retirees, community members of all ages and backgrounds. And whereas the Town Council of the Town of Grand Falls-Windsor recognizes the enormous contribution that volunteers and community organizations make to the social, cultural, and enormous contribution that volunteers and community organizations make to the social, cultural, and economic development of our province. Whereas Grand Falls-Windsor is a more desirable place to live because of the collective result of the work done by our volunteers, I, Mike Brown, Deputy Mayor of Grand Falls-Windsor, do hereby proclaim April 27th to May 3rd, 2025 as National Volunteers Week, recognizing the 2025 theme, Volunteers Make Waves, and urge my fellow citizens to recognize the crucial role played by volunteers in our community. And as I noted, we have Tiffany Drover and Colin Corcoran here today. So, Colin, you're the Chief Administrative Officer of the Community Sector Council. Welcome to Grand Falls-Windsor and welcome to our council chambers. And you'd like to add a few notes, I'm sure, on the National Volunteer Week.
Absolutely. First of all, thank you for giving us this opportunity to address council in the town of Grand Falls-Windsor. This year's theme is incredibly important, particularly for our province, Volunteers Make Waves. And we often think about the impact that volunteers have. And many of you around the room are volunteers. A number of the councillors, elected officials here, have strong roots in volunteering in sports, in provincial organizations, and in the community groups and organizations. Each individual volunteer, they make a ripple in our society, and that impact cascades into a tsunami of positive change for communities here in Newfoundland and Labrador. As you mentioned, we have 210,000 people in Newfoundland and Labrador who are volunteers. They contribute 161 hours on average. That is 33.8 million hours of volunteering. I just had a conversation with the council earlier about how volunteers are the backbone of our society. Well, what does that backbone look like if we did not have it? At 33.8 million hours, you would need the equivalent of 16,500 full-time employees just to cover what volunteers give freely to their communities day in, day out. So this volunteer week, I have just one simple ask for everybody in the room, everybody in this town today. Thank a volunteer. Find a volunteer in your life and thank them. And so it's my pleasure today to also thank each and every single one of you for your contributions to our communities in volunteering and what that means for us as a province and as a country. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much, Colin. Very well said. And as everybody knows, Grand Falls-Windsor is flush with volunteers. It's only a matter of calling on people to help out with any cause. We have a tremendous amount of non-profit organizations in our town, and through sports and social networking, the volunteers come out in Grand Falls-Windsor each and every time. And we're so proud of them, and I would like to take the opportunity to thank all of our volunteers in Grand Falls-Windsor for their time and effort they put in 2024, and we look forward to their dedication again in 2025. So Tiffany, you're a local worker with the Community Sector Council here in Grand Falls-Windsor and Central Newfoundland?
Yes.
Good.
Yep.
Okay, and welcome to you as well. So thank you guys for coming here tonight, and as we know, volunteerism is an important role in our community and across Newfoundland and Labrador and across the country. So thank you very much. I'll sign this proclamation now, and I'll give it to you guys, and you can take it with you, and we will post our own a copy of this proclamation downstairs as well for all to see.
Fantastic.
Okay, thank you very much. Sit. Sure. Thank you very much. Thanks, Colin. Thanks, Tiffany. Okay, we'll move on to item number 4 on the agenda, the adoption of the minutes from March 18th, 2025. Can I have a mover? Councillor Cody, second by Councillor Hiscock. Any discussion on the resolution? There being none, all in favor? Any opposed? The resolution is carried. Any business arising out of the minutes? There being none, we'll move on to Community Services and Economic Development, and I'll call on Councillor Little for resolution with respect to the Heritage Society outbuilding utility support.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Decision is required whether to financially support the Grand Falls-Windsor Heritage Society with the monthly electrical costs in the newly constructed outbuilding, and to support them in making the necessary applications to government for funding. So I propose that Council support paying the electrical for the Grand Falls-Windsor Heritage Society's newly constructed outbuilding, and that Council support being the applicant or co-applicant in the funding applications to government if necessary.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Little. Can I get a seconder for the resolution, please? Councillor Hiscock, thank you. Any discussion with respect to the motion? Councillor Little, please.
Thank you. So the Grand Falls-Windsor Heritage Society wishes to apply for funding to construct a 30-foot by 80-foot outbuilding at 7 Scott Avenue. The building will serve both as display and storage space. The building would have a facade of a train station that was located on Main Street, and will have heating and cooling required for the temperature control storage of artifacts, but no running water. They want the town to cover the monthly electrical cost for the building in addition to the current centre. The Heritage Society will look after the financial requirements of the newly constructed outbuilding through their own finances as part of the 15% requirement for a COA in the province as part of the application. The Heritage Society will be 100% responsible for the construction costs and any overruns, and will be responsible for the routine maintenance and capital costs around this addition. Some in-kind support from the town would also be required to prepare the land for this new structure, if they get funding, I guess.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Little. And this is all pending on the funding from the COA?
Yeah, and we'll support them in the application process.
Great.
And if they're successful, they will contribute their share, which should be about 15% anticipated, but the application is under development, so all the costs aren't finalized yet.
Okay, thank you. And obviously the Grand Falls-Windsor Heritage Society, speaking of volunteers, are making some great headway down at their new building. This building will allow them to show more artifacts and displays, and that's one problem the Heritage Society does have. It's not enough space to show the hundreds and thousands of artifacts that have been donated to the Heritage Society since they were established here in Grand Falls-Windsor some many years ago. Any more discussion on the resolution for the Heritage Society? There being none, all in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried. We'll move on to Public Works and Development. And item number 9.1, and I'll call on Councillor Dwyer, please.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Decisions required to allocate $1,032,682 towards capital expenses. This includes $400,000 under the existing project CCBF 99-2022-7655 for engineering design work that will enable the town to prepare design and cost estimates in anticipation of future funding application opportunities. It also includes $381,406 for the upgrading of Harris Avenue from the overpass to Cater Avenue, and $251,276 for the upgrade of Grenfell Heights from Ryan Street to Exploits Valley High. So I propose the Town of Grand Falls-Windsor approves the allocation of $1,032,682, HST rebate included, towards engineering design work in 2 sections of road upgrades from the Canada Community Building Fund, CCBF.
Thank you, Councillor Dwyer. Can I get a seconder for the resolution, please? Councillor Knoll. Any discussion with respect to the motion? Councillor Dwyer, please.
Thank you. We often hear and talk about having projects shovel-ready, And in order for us to be ready to apply for funding projects as they become available, we need completed designs and estimates ready. So we have lots of recreation projects that are ready for tender. And now we need to work on infrastructure upgrade design related work to capitalize on this available funding. And with respect to the two sections of road that were selected for work, I don't think any of us would argue that they're in poor condition and very heavily traveled sections of roadway, so it makes sense.
Thank you, Councillor Dwyer. Any more discussion on the resolution? There being none, all in favor? Any opposed? Resolution is carried. We'll move on to item number 9.2 and the resolution with respect to Grand Falls House. Councillor Dwyer, please.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. A decision is required as to whether Council will support the recommendation to award the Grand Falls House engineering work to All North Consultants Limited based upon the detailed review of the only RFP response received. This project is being funded by a COA, the province, and the town at a ratio of 60, 25, 15, respectively. So I propose the Town of Grand Falls-Windsor approves the recommendation to award the engineering design work for the Grand Falls House upgrades for the cost of $362,592 HST rebate included to All North Consultants Limited. The Town of Grand Falls-Windsor agrees to cover their 15% of the project cost per the agreement signed with the COA and the province.
Thank you, Councillor Dwyer. Can I get a seconder for the resolution? Thank you, Councillor Little. Any discussion with respect to the motion? Councillor Dwyer, please.
Well, we received one bid for the Grand Falls House Rehabilitation Project, a project that includes the restoration of the existing structure and a 3,120 square foot extension. The RFP for engineering received one bid, and it was $167,000 over budget. So we asked that the town meet with the Grand Falls House Committee, and they collaborated with the consultants to reduce the engineering costs to fit within our budget. So they excluded the hazmat-related work and deferred some construction-related engineering costs to the construction phase, and also agreed to use a single floor as opposed to multiple levels, and that would be for the floor for the extension. So again, we are attempting to get work completed to secure funding if and when it becomes available.
Thank you, Councillor Dwyer. Any more discussion with respect to the resolution? And it's all an effort to make Grand Falls-Windsor a more appealing destination spot for visitors and travelers. And once the Grand Falls House is completed, I suspect that will be the case. The town's contribution, the Town of Grand Falls-Windsor, will contribute $60,000 towards this project. And certainly we thank the Grand Falls House Foundation Committee for their ongoing work in trying to make Grand Falls House an attractive tourism destination for people traveling through our community. Any more discussion with respect to the resolution? All in favor? Any opposed? Resolution is carried. We'll move on to item 9.3, I'm sorry, and I'll call on Councillor Hiscock, please.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. A decision by Council is whether to proceed with the Section 15 review for Municipal Plan Amendment Number 15, 2025, and Development Regulations Amendment Number 20, 2025, which supports the development of the Sprucewood Estates subdivision. And I propose that Council approves proceeding with Section 15 Review Municipal Plan Amendment Number 15, 2025, and Development Regulations Amendment Number 20, 2025, to facilitate the development of Sprucewood Estates.
Thank you, Councillor Hiscock. Can I get a seconder for the resolution, please? Councillor Dwyer, thank you. Discussion with respect to the resolution. Councillor Hiscock, please.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. The Town of Grand Falls-Windsor has received a request for the development of the Sprucewood Estates subdivision on lands designated as Comprehensive Development Area Residential. The proposed development is located behind the Golden Years Senior Home on Greville Heights, extending south towards the Trans-Canada Highway. The amendment will allow for a fully serviced residential subdivision featuring various housing options, including highly designed single detached dwellings, semi-detached dwellings, one-story townhomes for seniors, and two-story townhomes. This initiative aligns with the town's long-term housing strategy. Deputy Mayor, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Hiscock. Any discussion? Any further discussion with respect to the resolution? And certainly this resolution is for badly needed housing and all types of housing in Grand Falls-Windsor. It's very difficult for new people moving into town to find a place to live, and it's difficult to find a place to rent. So throughout the spring and summer, we'll be addressing that issue here in Grand Falls-Windsor, and this is just one piece of it. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution is carried. We'll now move on to Resolution 9.4, 167 Main Street. And I'll call on Councillor Hiscock, please.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Council decision is consider whether to approve the variance request for 167 Main Street, which would allow an encroachment into the required minimum setback of 3.75 meters by 0.21 meters at the front corner and 0.30 meters at the rear corner of this residence. Regulation 11 permits variance of up to 10% of the required standard, and this request falls within those allowable tolerances. And I propose that council approves the variance request for 167 Main Street, allowing the encroachment into the required minimum setback.
Thank you, Councillor Hiscock. Can I get a seconder for the resolution, please? Councillor Little. Discussion with respect to the resolution, Councillor Hiscock.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. The Department of Public Works and Development received the application to construct a residence at 167 Main Street. The proposed residence will encroach on the required minimum setback from the exterior side lot line. The variance being processed under Regulation 11 of the Development Regulations. Regulation 11 of the Development Regulations allows for variances of up to 10% of the required standard. Given the required setback of 3.75 meters, the variance of up to 0.375 meters is permissible. The requested variance of 0.21 meters at the front corner and 0.30 meters at the rear corner falls within the allowable limits. And also, Deputy Mayor, notice was sent out to adjacent property owners, and there was no objections received on this proposal.
Thank you, Councillor Hiscock. Any other discussion with respect to the resolution? And as Councillor Hiscock noted, this is just a minimal change to the development regulations to allow 167 Main Street to proceed. We have a resolution and we have a mover and a seconder. All in favor? Any opposed? The resolution is carried. We'll move on to 9.5, the resolution with respect to the Joe Byrne Roof Tender Award. Councillor Dwyer, please.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Decisions required as to whether council will support the recommendation to award the reshingling of the north-facing half of the Joe Byrne Stadium roof. I propose that council approves the award of the contract for the reshingling of half the Joe Byrne Memorial Stadium roof to Bluebird Investments Limited at a total cost of $111,193.50 HST included, to be fully funded through town resources.
Thank you, Councillor Dwyer. Can I get a seconder for the motion, please? Councillor Knoll, thank you. Councillor Dwyer, for some discussion with respect to the resolution.
So the previous shingles were installed in 2023. However, they have malfunctioned prematurely, and the town is actively assessing the ability to file an insurance claim for this work or join the class action lawsuit that's currently being levied against the shingle manufacturer. The town hired a consultant to assess the 2023 shingles, and they confirmed that they were faulty shingles with pinholes throughout the entire shingled area. Unfortunately, the town can't wait for the outcome of these claims because the roof is leaking severely, and the town installed tarps over this section of the roof during the winter this last month to remediate the water infiltration as it was damaging the building and impacting spectators' experiences. So given the urgency of the situation and the need to prevent further damage to the stadium, it's recommended that council approve this resolution to award the re-shingling project to Bluebird Investment.
Thank you, Councillor Dwyer. Any other discussion with respect to the resolution? And of course, it's been a tough winter for Mr. Mercer and his staff at the Joe Burr Memorial Stadium with the leaks that have been appearing until we did get the roof tarped. And we had to cancel some events and made the experience at the Joe Byrne Stadium unpleasant for some for a short time until the roof issue was addressed. And there's no options here. We need the Joe Byrne Stadium to be working fully, including the roof not leaking. Any other discussion with respect to the resolution? Go ahead, Mr. Finn.
I would just like to make a comment, if I could, because it talks about the insurance claim and the class action, which is information that we've gotten from the supplier, but we haven't been able to confirm whether or not there is actually a class action to pursue. We are trying to see if we can get the shingles replaced from the manufacturer or the value off, but that process will take a lot longer, or to even get an answer, than it will take to replace the shingles. And obviously, we can't wait for that. So I think that's important to say. And insurance, whether or not we're insured or not, is yet to be determined also, but we're not hanging a lot of hope on it at this stage, because it's it's not workmanship, it's the quality of the shingles, and that part of the that issue with respect to our insurance policy is not clear. Right. In terms of the quality of materials that may be supplied to us.
Okay, thank you, sir. And we await the decisions with respect to the insurance and the class action lawsuit, and we'll relay that information to the people of Grand Falls-Windsor when it becomes available. So we got a resolution on the floor, we got a mover and a seconder. Any more discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Resolution is carried. Item number 9.5, resolution with respect to Railway Road. Councillor Hiscock, please.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Council approval is requested to proceed with the application to Crown Lands for a 13.7 meter by 15.2 meter parcel of land behind 5 Railway Road. A request has been submitted to acquire this land for private gardening purposes as per the town's land sale policy. Any application for former Abitibi-owned land now under Crown Lands jurisdiction must be made by the town. If approved, the town will submit the application on behalf of the property owner and proceed with the necessary process. And I propose that council submit an application to Crown Lands for a 13.7 meter by 15.2 meter parcel of land behind 5 Railway Road on behalf of the property owner and proceed with the sale of the land in accordance with the town's land sale policy.
Can I get a seconder for the Councillor Dwyer? Thank you. Any discussion with respect to the resolution?
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. A request was received to acquire the additional parcel of Crown land at the rear of a residential property on 5 Railway Road for gardening purposes. This land was formerly owned by Abitibi and is now under Crown Lands jurisdiction. And as per the town of Grand Falls-Windsor land sale policy, an application for such lands must be made by the town. If council approves this request, the town will initiate application process to Crown Lands on behalf of the property owner. The process will follow standard procedures to ensure compliance with all applicable regulations and policies.
Thank you, Councillor Hiscock. And the number 5 Railway Road, which just were purchased, and the new owners wanted to have their back line go back another 50 feet or so, and that's not uncommon, and there's lots of space there to do that as well. Any more discussion with respect to the resolution? Being none, all in favor? Any opposed? Resolution is carried. We'll move on to item number 9.7, a resolution with respect to Lincoln Road, and I'll call on Councillor Hiscock, please.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Decision is requested on a resident's request to purchase town-owned land at 116 Lincoln Road, adjacent to their property at 118 Lincoln Road. and propose that council deny the request to sell the town-owned land at 116 Lincoln Road to the resident of 118 Lincoln Road, and direct staff to proceed with confirming servicing feasibility in order to list the parcel of land as a new residential infill lot.
Thank you, Councillor Hiscock. Can I get a seconder for the resolution? Councillor Dwyer, thank you. Discussion with respect to the resolution, Councillor Hiscock.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. The resident of 118 Lincoln Road submitted a request to purchase a portion of the adjacent parcel at 116 Lincoln Road. The stated intent was for widen existing lot for gardening and potential future improvements. During the process, the resident also questioned the price of the land, approximately $18,459, suggesting it was a little bit high. But in follow-up to that, Deputy Mayor, is that the Department of Public Works and that looked at the land, and it was a former building lot for residents. It was there for years, and it's been vacant for a number of years. Upon investigation by the department, he found out that that land is actually the minimum size that a house could go back on. So I think we're delaying this right now and putting the land up for sale that someone may decide to put a house back there now or in the future.
Thank you, Councillor Hiscock. Any more discussion with respect to the resolution? And certainly with the housing crisis here in Grand Falls-Windsor and the inability for people to find a place to live or rent, this makes sense. So we got a resolution and we got a seconder. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The resolution is carried. Next up is corporate services with respect to a resolution on the FCM board nomination. And I'll have to ask Councillor Cody to excuse herself for a few minutes while Councillor Knoll reads the resolution, please.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Decision is required to consider and approve a resolution supporting Councillor Amy Cody's nomination to the Federation of Canadian Municipalities, or FCM, Board of Directors for the 2025 to 2027 term, and to acknowledge the financial implications associated with participation, while noting that costs may primarily be borne by municipalities Newfoundland and Labrador. I move that Council support the Councillor Cody's nomination to the Board of FCM, Board of Directors.
Thank you, Councillor Knoll. And can you further read the proposed resolution for Council, please?
It says, whereas the Federation of Canadian Municipalities, or FCM, represents the interest of member municipalities on policy and program matters that fall within federal jurisdiction, and whereas FCM's Board of Directors is comprised of elected municipal officials from all regions and sizes of communities to form a broad base of support and provide FCM with the united voice required to carry the municipal message to the federal government, and whereas FCM's annual general meeting, or AGM, will be held in conjunction with the annual conference and trade show May 29th to June 1st, 2025, followed by the election of FCM Board of Directors. Be it resolved that the Council of Grand Falls-Windsor endorse Councillor Amy Cody to stand for election on FCM's Board of Directors for the period starting June 2025 and ending June 2027. And be it further resolved that the Council assumes all costs and associated with Councillor Amy Cody attending FCM Board of Directors meetings.
Thank you, Councillor Knoll. Can I get a seconder for the resolution, please? Councillor Little, thank you. Any more discussion with respect to the resolution? Okay, and as Councillor Knoll noted, this is Councillor Cody is running for Vice President of Canadian Municipalities Board of Directors for a term that includes 2025 to 2027, and many benefits to the town of Grand Falls-Windsor and the people of Newfoundland and Labrador to have Councillor Cody in that position. She currently is the President of the municipalities Newfoundland and Labrador, and I will also note that as long as she's President of municipalities Newfoundland and Labrador, they will cover the cost of any travel associated with Councillor Cody being elected to the Canadian Municipalities Board of Directors. Any more discussion with respect to the resolution? There being none, all in favor? Any opposed? And the resolution is carried. Councillor Knoll, if you can ask Councillor Cody to come back in. So, Councillor Cody, we wish you good luck in your election for the Vice President of the Canadian Federation of Municipalities. Quite the role, and you will be the Vice President for the Atlantic region. So hopefully that comes through to fruition. It'll be a big benefit to the people of Grand Falls-Windsor and to the people of Newfoundland and Labrador. And most people know Amy is currently Councillor Cody rather, is currently the President of the Federation of M&L, Municipalities Newfoundland and Labrador. There's a lot of federations going on here. So good luck with that, and we look forward to your successful election. That concludes the business for this evening. We'll now move into the other business, and I think tonight we start with Councillor Hiscock. Okay, Councillor Hiscock, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Just a few items. One is today we attended the Understanding Dementia seminar that was at the Classic Theatre. It was well attended. I counted over 130 people in attendance, and our presenters were Dr. Jody Wolfrey, John Din, Deanna Foley, and Dr. Tara Snellgrove. And we'd like to thank all those who helped put that off, especially Jeff Berry from Rogers was there, and he filmed the entire seminar, and which will be available on Rogers at a later date. Also, Stan Singh, who coordinated this. This was Stan Singh's job, as per se, but he done an excellent job with this, put it off. There was a lot of work went behind it. And also our event staff, Angela Daw and Michael Lewis were there as well to help out, but it was fabulous. It was a great day for sure.
It was a lot of useful information for the participants,
Yeah,
healthcare workers and home care workers.
And it dealt with everything from the early onset right up to personal home care and then long-term care. It was a great day for sure.
And the people can look forward to watching all of this on Rogers
Yes.
Cable 9 in the near future.
Yeah, and there's also going to be too some information that's going to be posted, I think, on our Facebook page or on the website that people can access into these different areas for get help along the way and guidance, right? And also, Deputy Mayor, I was talking to Lou Horwood a couple of days ago, and of course Lou, a longtime employee of our town, and his granddaughter Laura is in England now studying to be a vet, and she's also playing hockey with the Great Britain hockey team in a big tournament over Scotland. And they played Kazakhstan a couple of days ago, and she scored a goal and assist, and tonight, as a matter of fact, they're playing Italy, which were in this division, the winners of last year. And you can actually access this by, I got to get this right now because Lou told me. It's Dumfries Ice Bowl, but you can go into that and you can pick it up and you can watch the games live. So congratulations, Laura, and all the best for sure. And also, Deputy Mayor, April the 28th, which is Monday, National Day of Mourning for those injured and killed in the line of work. And it's going to be at the memorial on Lincoln Road at noon on Monday, April the 28th, and we're looking forward to a bunch of people who are available to come out to that as well. So I think that'd be just a great thing. Also, Deputy Mayor, if I may, I spoke many times on recycling, and the last two audits that were done, Grand Falls-Windsor failed. We were leading the pack, but now we're actually, after falling off the rails big time. I just urge people to recycle everything, like your tin cans, wash them out, leave the lid on, just wash your cans, fold the lid back in, put it in the proper container. Milk containers, wash them out, put them in. You know, these clamshells, stuff like this. There's so much that's going into our landfill that's costing us money. So, and the Murph building in Norris Arm, we can actually sort everything in Atlantic Canada. That's how big this building is. But we're not doing it. And the residents of Grand Falls-Windsor, like I said, unfortunately, we're after running off the rails. But to take the time to wash these products out, sort them, put them into proper containers that they can be reused. Also, some people have come up to me and said, well, I don't need to recycle because everything is going into the same truck. The truck is a split stream. It's got two sections in the truck. The blue bags go on the inside, and it's compressed, and then the garbage goes into the front. So when it goes down to the landfill, the garbage goes to the landfill, and the blue bags actually go up to the MRF building for sorting. And some people have said, well, I go down and I see blue bags down there everywhere. The blue bags cannot be recycled. So when it goes to the MRF building, the blue bags are actually opened up, the materials are sorted, the blue bags then go to the landfill. But we ask people, please take your time, recycle. Recycle everything can be done, like cardboards, paper, plastics, a lot of things that you can do, like pizza boxes. People don't realize, but you can recycle the pizza boxes. And the milk containers, all sorts of milk containers, juice containers. Just wash it out. It's got to be washed out, cleaned, and then put it in the proper bags. Thank you, Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Hiscock, for that important message, and we encourage the people of Grand Falls-Windsor to keep recycling, and in some cases start recycling, by the sounds of it. So, before we go on to Councillor Little, obviously the Mayor Manuel is unable to make it tonight. He is traveling today and this evening, and he'll be back with us in 3 weeks' time. Councillor Little, please.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. This past weekend we had the U13 Atlantics here in Grand Falls-Windsor at the Joe Byrne Stadium. The Red Devils from PEI defeated the Eastern Hitmen of Eastern Newfoundland 4-3 in overtime in the final. Very high-level hockey for to have in our town. Actually, it's pretty impressive. Our local team actually won bronze, and there was a lot of high praise for our staff from the H&L representatives and the teams attending. Very impressed with how the tournament was put off and all the work our staff did. So that would be my large part. Todd Mercer, our Director of Community Services, and some of Nelson's staff as well will be involved in that, preparing the stadiums and all those things. So very impressive that we put that off. Besides that, our announcement for Salmon Festival went up this week. A lot of great things there. People can go to the website and check that out. It's also available through our Facebook. We'll link to the website. A lot of things to do over the course of the week, and it's all through the lens of the Gordon Pinsent tribute, which will be, when you go through it, you'll see all the different things named in his honor or put off in his honor. One comes to mind is the Rowdyman pub crawl and the Codfather dinner, which will replace our salmon dinner, at least for this year. One other thing is our 80s event tickets went on sale this week. Those tickets are going very, very quickly. So if people do want to attend that event, they should get those tickets soon, because you do not want to be disappointed. Our last event was 90s, I think, was it? 70s. Oh, sorry. 90s now. Yeah. So our last event, though, went off very, very well. My wife attended the last event. I wasn't there, but she said it was amazing. She's really looking forward to this one, too. So if people do want to go, they should get those tickets very, very soon. And that goes the same for there's another event. Let's make a deal. The Wayne Brady Show, anyways. Those tickets are also on sale, and they're going very quickly as well. So people should get those tickets if they are interested in going.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Little, for that. And I got a chance to take in most of the under-13 tournament that was at the Joe Byrne Stadium all weekend, and just quality hockey for that young age group. And you can be rest assured there's a couple of fellows coming out of the tournament that will make it. They're that good. Very impressive, and a very exciting championship game. Myself and Councillor Hiscock watched, and
There's a few young ladies playing. I tell you, they weren't at a place.
no, not by any stretch.
Good.
Excellent skaters and excellent hockey
Yeah.
players.
Yeah.
And I think we're already talking about applying to host the under-18, is it, Mr. Mercer? Atlantic in 2027. I think with the success that we experienced over the weekend, and with the praise from Hockey Newfoundland Labrador, that should be an easy one for us, and hockey fans can look forward to that in 2027. Councillor Dwyer, please.
Thank you. Just have one item this evening. One of the proclamations this evening was about National Volunteer Week, and we talked about some of the exceptional volunteerism we have in Grand Falls-Windsor. And ironically, Cyril Farrell comes to mind when I think of exceptional volunteerism. And Cyril formally announced his resignation from our Healthcare Coalition team this week, after 3.5 years of serving on the team, and did an exceptional, amazing job. When you had the Premier calling you to discuss some items. You know that you're making an impact, and if it wasn't every second week or month, we had meetings with deputy ministers and ministers, and certainly got the attention of people who are in positions to make change, and let them know that we are watching what's going on, and as a community, we're willing to do what we can do to help facilitate change. So this committee was born out of the Health Accord, and we were looking to see what we could do as a town to help facilitate some of the changes that were suggested in the Health Accord. And Cyril did an exceptional job as chair of that committee, and he's definitely going to be missed. Thank you.
And as I noted earlier, Cyril is just one of thousands of volunteers here in Grand Falls-Windsor that make our community a great place to live. And I certainly acknowledge the work of Cyril and the committee, and thank him very much. And I know the committee will carry on and doing the excellent work that you're doing, and keeping our ear to the ground with respect to any changes in the hospital up on Union Street there, and ensuring that we know before the changes are made, so we can contact government and explain to them why those changes are not a good idea at our hospital, or are a good idea at our hospital on the other side of it. So thank you, Councillor Dwyer, and thank you to Cyril Farrell as well. Councillor Cody, please.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. I just have a few recognitions tonight. First off, I wanted to say congratulations to the organizing committee and volunteers again for the first annual Central Music Festival, which happened here a couple weeks ago. A wonderful event, lots of great performances by all ages, groups, individuals, just a fantastic week. I know our communications officer, Robin, was involved, one of the volunteers in the organization of the festival that we've come to love as the Kiwanis Music Festival for so many years. And I think it was a struggle for a lot of people to call it the Central Music Festival this time, but I'm glad to see that the festival itself is actually continuing, even though the Kiwanis are no longer present in the community. So hats off to everyone involved. That was just a fantastic event. I want to say congratulations to Alyssa Party of Grand Falls-Windsor. Alyssa participated in the Miss Achievement Newfoundland and Labrador this past weekend. She was a top 10 finalist. She actually did win the Dale Carnegie Public Speaking Award, and her speech was on kindness. And she also was the recipient of the Dale Carnegie Scholarship to attend the Dale Carnegie program. So congratulations to Alyssa for doing such a great job there, and we're certainly proud of those achievements for her and expect great things from her in the future for sure. I wanted to just remind residents that the federal election is happening on April 28th. So make yourself familiar with the candidates. You can view elections.ca. It'll list the candidates for this area. It'll give you all the information on where you vote, advanced polling stations, advanced polling dates. Anything that you want to know, you can find on elections.ca. The candidates for Central Newfoundland, because the riding district name has changed again, so it's now Central. And the candidates for this area are in alphabetical order. I don't want anybody accusing of anything. Lynette Powell is the Liberal candidate, Clifford Small is the Conservative candidate, and Darren Vincent is the NDP candidate. So those three candidates are running in this district. Again, make yourself familiar, ask questions, do some research, do some reading. But the important thing is that you certainly exercise your right to vote. This is going to be a busy election year. Provincial election we expect is going to be hot on the heels of the federal election. And of course, the most important election, in my opinion, is the municipal election, which is going to be happening on October 2nd of this year. So they need to be done and get out of our way so we can start doing our own thing. and making sure that we take care of our residents, because as we know, we are the boots on the ground, we're closest to the people, we're the ones gets the work done, so we'll tolerate them now for the next little bit, and then it's time for them to back off and let us do our work. Last thing for me, we are into Holy Week. I want to wish everybody a happy and holy Easter for those who celebrate. We have a week coming off school. I know my teacher friends, even if you're retired, you're still looking forward to Easter break. The kids are enjoying the warm weather, nice weather already. They're out on their bikes, they're at the playgrounds, they're everywhere. So please be careful when you're driving. We don't have our speed bumps out yet. They'll be coming, but you don't need a speed bump in the road for you to understand that people are out. You need to be driving with care and caution, and always be aware of what's going on around you, so please be careful. We've got our college students and our university students are into exam week, so wishing them all the best. Tons of sports travel happening during the Easter break, so I want to wish all our teams who are traveling safe travels. And again, just everybody be safe, and we will see you, I guess, in 3 weeks.
Thank you, Councillor Cody. Councillor Knoll, please.
Just to add to what Councillor Amy had said there about Miss Alyssa Party, I had the pleasure of teaching Alyssa, and if you had the pleasure of being in her company, you see why she made the top 10 Dale Carnegie. I mean, she's just impeccable. Just a charm to be with, and I do wish her very well in the near future. A couple items for me this evening. First of all and foremost, got to get in on the volunteer week piece. You know how it is near and dear to the heart. And I'm always encouraging people to try and get involved. The statistics were amazing. Basically it's 1 in 2 in Canadian. 1 in 2 Canadians get involved in that. You're talking about 24 million Canadians. So what about the other half? I'm always trying to move it a little further in that direction. People say, what can I do? Well, I mean, there's so many different service opportunities here in Grand Falls-Windsor from all the schools, the churches, all these other organizations. And it's nice to see the Lions International back up and running. Kudos to the folks that got that back up and running. It's really important. But, like myself, I was out and about today, and I cannot go across the parking lot if I see the garbage there. It's not in me to walk past it. And so the easiest thing to do, when you're out and about and you see that piece of garbage there, the plastic, the lid, whatever it is, the plastic fork, the plastics, they break down, become microplastics, they get blown away, they get washed away, they wind up in the food chain, and you and I have a tremendous amount of plastics, more so than any other human. Also, these plastics haven't been around 500 years ago, but you get the idea. We are ingesting plastics all the time, so better to take care of it and recycle them as properly as we can, that sort of stuff, right? To the recycling bit, I was going to ask about the recycling of the glass. It kills me to put the pickle jar in it does. When I watched videos on other places around the planet that recycle glass, they make all sorts of fabulous housewares with the glass. And maybe that's something that we can work on here in Newfoundland a little later on. I want to take a second to thank the Business Development Bank and the Chamber of Commerce for hosting a coffee break at the Grand Rodeo last week. It was kind of cool, I'll say. It was the first one of those that I had attended, and really the first one they had since post-COVID. It was really great to see all the bankers were there, a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of business people were there, and lots of ideas floating how we're going to move Grand Falls-Windsor and Central Newfoundland forward in the very near future. So that was a great opportunity, and kudos to Gary Hennessy of the Chamber for organizing. Thanks again. I just want to finish this evening by sending our well wishes to former councillor Mr. Sean Feener, who's in St. John's, and we know he's had a rough week, and we just wish him a speedy recovery. Thanks, Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Knoll. Okay, I just got one item, I think, or two actually. First of all, I'd like to remind everybody that spring is here, and the cups that were buried all winter, or semi-buried this winter, we didn't have a whole lot of snow, need to be cleaned up, and I guess our program, Mr. Mercer, will be beginning soon? Mid-May. Right. And we encourage the business owners as well to clean up their properties and make them and beautify them as much as possible. And finally, I'd like to congratulate Danielle Ledrew. Danielle, this last week actually was awarded the Mike McKay Transformational Coaching Award from Basketball Canada for her dedication and coaching leadership while developing competent, connected, competitive, confident future leaders with character in our community. And Danielle is no stranger to working with the youth in our community to ensuring they have better lives and better futures. So congratulations, Danielle. That's quite the achievement, and on behalf of everybody in Grand Falls, Windsor, congratulations and keep up the good work. Anything else we need to discuss tonight? Councillor Dwyer, please.
Danielle Mills was awarded Senior Official of the Year as well, provincial award, so congratulations to Danielle.
Danielle, excellent official. I watched her officiate a lot of cataract games over the winter and does a fantastic job, and one of the leading officials in Newfoundland and Labrador, obviously as a result of her award. Thank you, Councillor Dwyer. Anything else anybody would like to mention? Councillor Hiscock.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. One thing, Miss Clara Reed celebrating 100th birthday today. And of course, we went down to see her. She's a resident of Golden Years. We went down to see her, but she was taken out for a social by her family and friends.
Right.
So we're hoping to get down tomorrow, and congratulations and happy birthday to Clara Reed.
Right, 100 years old, wow. Remarkable, to say the very least. Okay, I think we're done here. There being no further business, can I have a motion to adjourn, please? Councillor Cody, second by Councillor Knoll. All in favor? Any opposed? The meeting is adjourned, and we'll see you back here 3 weeks, and safe travels to our mayor.